Welcome to the Americas. This is the only continent in the world to host all 5 major climate zones. Tropical, arid, temperate, continental, and polar, all packed into one massive land. From the crisp, icy winds, brush your face in Alaska, to the steamy, vibrant greenery of the Amazon rainforest. The continent stretches so far, it's like walking through multiple worlds in a single journey. From icy glaciers to endless deserts, from bustling cities to untouched wilderness, the Americas are a playground of nature's extremes. Every corner tells a story of people, of animals, of landscapes shaped over millions of years. And yet, many travelers only see a tiny slice of it. So, how does one continent hold such mind-blowing diversity? What secrets lie between these contrasting climates? Stay with me as we explore the Americas, its breathtaking landscapes, rich cultures, and the hidden wonders that make it truly unforgettable. From above, it looks like a frozen ocean, but up close, it's a sparkling desert of pure salt, stretching as far as the eye can see. Let me take you to Salinas Grandes, one of Argentina's most surreal landscapes. Here, the ground is covered with a thin layer of bright white salt, creating a dazzling view under the sun. When rainwater forms a thin sheet on top, the entire desert transforms into a giant mirror, reflecting the deep blue sky above. Walking on these salt flats feels like stepping into another world, where every step crunches softly under your feet. Visitors can explore the traditional salt mines and learn about the local culture that has thrived here for generations. Photographers from all over the world come to capture the magical reflections and endless white horizon. The best time to visit is from April to October, when the weather is dry and cool, making the salt flats even more stunning. Even for a small entrance fee, this is an experience that leaves everyone amazed and inspired. Now, before we move on to the next destination, here's a fun question for you. Which is the largest country in the Americas by land area? Comment your answer below. A desert. That's not really a desert. Where turquoise lagoons bloom right in the middle of golden sand dunes. This is Lençóis Maranhenses, Brazil's breathtaking natural wonder. Here, along Brazil's northeastern coast, the Atlantic Ocean kisses 70 kilometers of untouched shoreline. But the real magic lies inland. Endless waves of white sand, some rising as high as a 14-story building. From January to June, the rainy season transforms this landscape into a maze of shimmering lagoons, each one crystal clear and warm like a tropical bath. You can walk barefoot from one pool to another, feeling the cool water between your toes while the sun warms your face. Every year, thousands of travelers come here to hike, swim, or simply stand still, amazed at how real this dreamland actually is. In July 2024, UNESCO declared it a World Heritage Site, but those who've been here will tell you, no title could ever capture its beauty. If you are watching this, please click the subscribe button in the corner of the screen. It's completely free, but means a lot to us. The Exumas were originally inhabited by the Lucayan people before European contact in the 16th century. After the Lucayans were enslaved and removed, the islands remained uninhabited until American loyalists arrived around 1783. These settlers established cotton plantations and founded Georgetown on Great Exuma, naming it after King George III. John Roll, a prominent loyalist landowner, left his estates to former slaves, creating towns like Rollville and Rolltown. Hidden coves and reefs served as hideouts for pirates, including Captain Kidd, who reportedly used the area for supplies and treasure stashes. Many small islands in the chain remain privately owned, while protected areas preserved coral reefs, caves, and marine ecosystems. Some beaches became filming locations, such as scenes for Pirates of the Caribbean and James Bond's Thunderball. the Tropic of Cancer crosses Pelican Beach on Little Exuma, adding geographic significance to the region. Lake Titicaca sits high in the Andes, about 3,800 meters above sea level, and is the largest freshwater lake in South America. It stretches roughly 120 miles across and covers an area of about 8,300 square kilometers, forming a huge basin on the Altiplano Plateau. A narrow strait divides the lake into two parts, with the smaller section in the southeast shared between Bolivia and Peru. For thousands of years, people have lived along its shores, leaving behind evidence of ancient Andean civilizations. Early communities, around 10,000 years ago, developed farming and managed land carefully to survive the high-altitude climate. Over time, different societies created monuments, ceremonial sites, and cultural practices that shaped the region's unique heritage. When the Incas arrived in the 1500s, they incorporated local communities while keeping many traditions alive. During colonial times, the lake continued to support settlements, blending indigenous and European influences over the centuries. Los Llanos, spanning eastern Colombia and Venezuela, is a vast tropical grassland, home to generations of cowboys on horseback. During the dry season, the plains become dusty and golden, while seasonal rains transform the landscape into lush wetlands. This flood and drought rhythm supports a remarkable variety of wildlife, making it one of South America's ecological treasures. Scarlet ibis, roseate spoonbills, sunbitterns, and the prehistoric hoatzin fill the skies with color and motion. Capybaras gather in groups near water, while anacondas, giant otters, and spectacled caimans navigate the rivers below. Freshwater dolphins, manatees, and arrow turtles inhabit the waterway, adding another layer of biodiversity to the plains. The Llanos is a living, breathing ecosystem where every season brings change, challenge, and beauty in equal measure. Some call it the River of Five Colors, a spectacle that seems too vivid to be real. Caño Cristales is only about 100 kilometers long, yet it displays red, yellow, green, black, and blue in a mesmerizing natural palette. The colors come from Macarenia clavigera, an aquatic plant that changes hue with sunlight exposure. Waterfalls, rapids, and circular rock pools sculpted over millions of years add texture and movement to the river's surface. These waters flow from the ancient Macarena Massif, where rocks date back more than 1 billion years. The river's clarity allows visitors to see the plants clinging to the rocky bed and the occasional small fish navigating upstream. Seasonal rains cause dramatic shifts. The river swells quickly, isolating riverbanks, then retreats to reveal the thriving red plants. The surrounding forest is a meeting point of 3 ecosystems: Andean mountains, Amazon rainforest, and eastern plains, creating incredible biodiversity. Would you love to stand by this rainbow river one day? Drop a 1 if yes, or a 2 if it's now on your travel bucket list. Unalaska Island stretches over 1,051 square miles, making it one of the largest islands in the Aleutians. Its coastline is jagged, filled with deep bays, inlets, and peninsulas, unlike many other Aleutian islands. Three major bays, Beaver Inlet, Unalaska Bay, and Macoupin Bay, shape the island's maritime routes. Rugged mountains dominate the terrain, and snow covers higher elevations for most of the year. Macoupin volcano, still active, rises as the highest point and influences the island's landscape. The city of Unalaska sits partially on a Maknak Island, hosting the port of Dutch Harbor, a major fishing hub. The Aleut name, Nawan Alaksha, likely means near the mainland, reflecting the island's strategic location. With fewer than 2,000 permanent residents, the island maintains a remote and isolated character. It may look like a perfect vacation spot, but Lake Powell hides a serious environmental story. Flooded by the Glen Canyon Dam in 1972, it submerged a vast natural canyon ecosystem that took millions of years to form. The reservoir holds over 24 million acre-feet of water, yet sediment carried from upstream gradually reduces its capacity every year. The upper basin states rely on it for water storage, but each rainy season increases the pressure on the dam and surrounding ecology. John Wesley Powell first explored the Colorado River here in 1869, unaware that one day a dam would change its course completely. Recreational visitors see turquoise water and towering cliffs, but beneath the surface, habitats for native fish and plants were destroyed. Environmentalists debate whether draining Lake Powell could restore Glen Canyon's natural flow and revive lost ecosystems. Sedimentation, water loss, and ecological disruption make it one of the most controversial reservoirs in the United States. Our contents from various sources. Spot something off or have more to add? Leave a comment. Few realize that Grand Prismatic Spring is not only Yellowstone's largest hot spring, but also the third largest on Earth. Its vivid colors mimic the full spectrum of a rainbow, from deep blue at the center to fiery reds and oranges along the edges. The color comes from heat-loving bacteria that form microbial mats, changing hue depending on temperature and season. Summer brings bright oranges and reds, while winter turns the mats a dark, rich green. Measuring roughly 370 feet across and 160 feet deep, it discharges over 2,100 liters of hot water per minute. Early explorers called it a boiling lake, amazed by the constant steam and vivid colors that seemed almost unnatural. Nearby, geysers add to the geothermal spectacle of the Midway Geyser Basin. Grand Prismatic Spring is a rare combination of extreme heat, microbial life, and optical wonder, creating a visual phenomenon unlike anywhere else on the planet. If you've ever wondered what it's like to walk on another planet, the Bentonite Hills in Utah come pretty close. Located in Wayne County, these colorful mounds and ridges are made from bentonite clay, a material formed when volcanic ash settled in ancient swamps and lakes millions of years ago. When dry, the clay is firm and cracked. When wet, it turns into a slick, sticky surface that can stop you in your tracks. The hills are part of the Brushy Basin Shale, member of the Morrison Formation, a Jurassic Age layer that holds mud, silt, fine sand, and volcanic ash in striking bands of red, purple, gray, and green. Each stripe you see is a separate deposit of sediment from a different moment in Earth's history. The result is a landscape so unusual that it's often nicknamed Mars on Earth, attracting photographers, hikers, and geology fans from all over. Here, you can wander for hours without crossing paths with another person, surrounded only by the silence of the desert and the shapes of hills carved by time. Over 12,000 feet above sea level, where the air is thin and the sun feels closer, lies the largest high plateau on Earth outside Tibet. This is the Altiplano, a land of ancient empires, salt flats, and a lake so big it feels like an ocean. Here, the sky feels endless, and the horizon stretches farther than your eyes can follow. In the north, Lake Titicaca sparkles like a giant mirror, holding stories of the Inca and civilizations even older. To the south, the land turns dry and silent, broken only by dazzling white salt flats that seem to glow under the midday sun. For thousands of years, people have called this high plain home, from the Chiripa to the mighty Inca, long before Spanish footsteps arrived. Llamas and alpacas wander freely, their soft wool a gift that has sustained families for generations. Life here is tough, but it's also full of beauty, the kind you can't find anywhere else on Earth. Around 40,000 years ago, this area was covered by prehistoric lakes that slowly evaporated over time. Today, it is a few meters of solid salt crust lying above brine rich in lithium. The crust is remarkably flat, with elevation changes of less than 1 meter across the entire 10,582 square kilometer expanse. Beneath the surface, the brine contains high concentrations of sodium chloride, lithium chloride, and magnesium chloride. The center of the salt flat contains small islands, which are actually the tops of ancient volcanoes, often covered with coral-like structures and fossil deposits. During the wet season, rainfall creates a thin layer of water that turns the flat into a giant mirror stretching up to 129 kilometers. Salar de Uyuni also serves as a major transport route across the Bolivian Altiplano. In addition, the salt flat provides a breeding ground for several species of flamingos that visit the area regularly. At the very edge of Vancouver Island, where the road finally runs out, you'll find Tofino. This small town of just over 2,500 people rests on the tip of the Exumas Peninsula, surrounded by the rugged waters of Clayoquot Sound. It's the traditional homeland of the Tlaoquiot First Nations, whose deep connection to the land and sea is still felt here. Long, sandy beaches stretch into the distance, where waves curl in perfect rhythm under the gulls' cries. When winter storms arrive, massive swells slam into the shore, sending plumes of salt water high into the air. The town's name dates back to 1909, honoring Spanish Admiral Vicente Tofino, a master of mapmaking. With cool summers, mild winters, and over 3 meters of rainfall each year, Tofino is shaped quite literally by the Pacific Ocean. Every second, millions of gallons of water thunder over the edge of Niagara Falls, making it the most powerful waterfall in North America. It's actually 3 waterfalls in one: the massive Horseshoe Falls on the border of Canada and the US, and the smaller American Falls and Bridal Veil Falls on the New York side. Together, they send more than 168,000 cubic meters of water over the edge every minute during peak flow. The falls were born over 10,000 years ago, when melting glaciers sent the Niagara River plunging over the Niagara Escarpment. Hard limestone at the top and softer shale below caused the rock to break away in massive chunks, slowly pulling the falls upstream. This erosion has moved the crest almost 7 miles from its original spot, reshaping Horseshoe Falls into its sharp V we see today. Stand close enough, and you can feel the ground vibrate and the spray cling to your skin. Through a quiet stretch of subalpine forest, the trail suddenly opens to one of the most photographed views in Canada, Peyto Lake. Shaped like a wolf's head and glowing a surreal turquoise, the lake feels almost unreal when you first see it in person. Its color comes from fine glacial rock flour, carried into the water each summer as ice melts high in the Waputehk Range. Framed by Cauldron Peak, Peyto Peak, and Mount Jimmy Simpson, the lake sits over 6,000 feet above sea level. Peyto Lake isn't just a sight. It's the kind of place that imprints itself on your memory forever. At first glance, Abraham Lake looks like any other turquoise alpine lake in the Canadian Rockies, but this one is entirely man-made. Stretching 20 miles along the North Saskatchewan River, it was created when the valley was flooded to form Alberta's largest reservoir. Like natural glacial lakes, its bright blue color comes from fine rock flour suspended in the water. In summer, it's a scenic roadside stop along the David Thompson Highway, with mountains like Mount Mykoner and Abraham Mountain towering overhead. But in winter, the lake turns into something out of a science fiction scene. As the surface freezes, thousands of white bubbles appear, stacked beneath the clear ice like strings of pearls. These bubbles are methane, released by bacteria breaking down plants long submerged when the valley was flooded. Photographers and adventurers time their visits between mid-January and mid-February, when the ice is thick and the frozen bubbles are at their clearest. Standing on the lake, looking down into those ghostly shapes, feels like walking on a frozen sky filled with stars. Peggy's Cove is a tiny fishing village clinging to the granite rocks of Nova Scotia's Atlantic coast. Legends swirl around its name. One tells of a young shipwreck survivor adopted by a local fisherman, forever remembered as Peggy of the Cove. Founded in 1811 by 6 German families, the village grew around fishing. By the early 1900s, Peggy's Cove had a church schoolhouse and a lobster cannery, all tucked between granite boulders in the sea. At its heart stands the iconic Peggy's Point Lighthouse, a white tower with a red cap that has guided sailors since 1868. Though storms like Hurricane Juan and Hurricane Bill have battered its breakwater and shoreline, the village endures. Today, fishing still happens here, but visitors now outnumber the locals. With strict rules to preserve its rustic look, Peggy's Cove remains a place where the Atlantic's raw beauty meets a storybook fishing village. Long before maps marked this place, locals called Tamul waterfall La Soñadora, the Dreamer, because in rainy season, its roar could be heard miles away. Here, the Galinas River meets the Santa Maria, and together, they leap 105 meters into a canyon 300 meters deep. This is the tallest waterfall in San Luis Potosí, a landmark that has stood for centuries in the heart of the Huasteca region. During the wet season, the spray from the fall can rise over 30 meters, leaving surrounding vegetation constantly damp. Over time, the river below changes name to Tampayon, continuing its journey toward the lowlands. In the 1960s, before tourism infrastructure existed, reaching Tamul often required multi-day trips by foot and canoe. Even today, despite road access, the falls retain the same seasonal rhythm that has shaped the region for generations. The first thing visitors notice at El Meco Waterfall is not the height, but the turquoise water, a color created by fine limestone sediment suspended in the river. The cascade stands 38 meters tall, splitting into several silver threads before meeting the pool below. From the upper viewpoint, you can see El Meco Waterfall in full, along with the winding river that feeds it. Because El Meco Waterfall lies downstream from El Salto, its flow changes directly with the seasonal rains in the upper river. Few lakes on Earth can show 7 distinct shades of blue in a single view. Lake Bacalar is one of them. Stretching nearly 60 kilometers in length, it is the largest freshwater body in Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. Its unusual formation comes from a chain of collapsed cenotes, all fed by a vast underground river system. The white limestone bed beneath Lake Bacalar reflects sunlight, giving the water its striking turquoise and deep indigo tones. Shallow areas glow with pale mint colors, while sinkhole depths turn almost navy blue. Along its shores, rare living stromatolites, microbial structures billions of years old, grow in cauliflower-like forms. These formations are among the oldest evidence of life on the planet, found in only a few locations worldwide. Because the lake connects to fragile underground water networks, sunscreen use is banned to protect its delicate pH balance. Cozumel sits on the edge of the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, the second largest coral system in the world. Its clear Caribbean waters host more than 250 species of fish and 26 types of coral. The island's position in warm currents keeps visibility high, often exceeding 30 meters. Cozumel's shallow reefs shelter juvenile fish, while deeper walls attract eagle rays and sea turtles. Limestone bedrock gives the island its cenotes, with over 18 deep sinkholes and hundreds of smaller pools. These freshwater caves connect to the sea, creating habitats for species found nowhere else. By combining rich marine biodiversity with accessible diving sites, Cozumel remains a premier destination for underwater exploration. On the northern coast of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, lies the Rio Lagartos Biosphere Reserve, a sanctuary of wetlands, mangroves, and lagoons. Recognized by UNESCO and the Ramsar Convention, this area protects hundreds of species and is one of the best birdwatching spots in the region. Flamingos, thousands of them, gather here, especially between March and June, when you might even spot tiny chicks. But don't worry if you visit outside that season. You'll almost always see plenty of flamingos year-round. Beyond the beauty, Rio Lagartos also carries history. Its name dates back to 1517, when Spanish explorers spotted giant alligators here. The town of Rio Lagartos welcomes travelers with boat tours through the lagoons, where you'll also see crocodiles, turtles, and countless bird species. It's a destination that blends wildlife, color, and history into one unforgettable experience. Have you ever imagined a lake so pink it looks like a giant strawberry milkshake? This is not a dream. This is Las Coloradas in Mexico. Located on the northern coast of the Yucatan Peninsula, this lake is actually part of massive salt evaporation ponds. Its pink color comes from microscopic algae, brine shrimp, and red-colored plankton thriving in the salty water. Under bright sunlight, these pigments reflect even stronger, making the water appear almost neon pink. Salt production here dates back to ancient Mayan times, when salt was a valuable seasoning and trade item. Las Coloradas is also part of the Rio Lagartos Biosphere Reserve, a habitat for flamingos, crocodiles, and sea turtles. The flamingo's pink feathers come from eating the tiny organisms that color the lake. Access to the lake is limited to protect the salt industry and local ecosystem, so most visits are through guided tours. From certain spots, you can even see the water shift from deep pink to orange and yellow depending on the minerals and sunlight. In August 1952, an explosion so powerful it could be seen from the sea transformed San Benedicto in just days. Ash buried the island under 10 feet of debris, and a brand new volcanic cone rose more than 300 meters into the air. Before this eruption, the island was already remarkable with two older craters and the tall Barsina Peak standing proudly in the south. The eruption wiped out every plant and animal on the island, including the unique San Benedicto rock wren. By late 1953, the island began to recover. Rain slowly washed away the thick ash, revealing black volcanic rocks and small patches of new plant life. Seabirds returned first, nesting north of the Herrera crater, filling the air with the sound of their calls. Today, its volcanic peaks and rugged landscapes attract scientists and birdwatchers who come to see the thriving seabird colonies. Hidden in the heart of Mexico's Huasteca region, Tamul Waterfall drops an astonishing 105 meters into the canyon below. It's formed where the Salinas River crashes into the Santa Maria River, creating a curtain of water over 300 meters wide. From the lookout, the sheer power of the waterfall is impossible to ignore. The roar echoes through the canyon like thunder. The rivers merge just above the falls, and downstream they continue as the Tampon River, winding through lush jungle and cliffs. Visitors often take a boat along the river, gliding closer to the base to feel the spray and watch the water pound the rocks below. Some adventurers rappel down the falls or dive into hidden pools, including a crystal-clear cave more than 45 meters deep. Tamul has been known for decades as La Soñadora, or the Dreamer, because of its thunderous voice during rainy seasons. Surrounded by dozens of other waterfalls in the region, it stands out as the tallest in San Luis Potosí, a true crown jewel of the Huasteca. Cabo San Lucas has been a human settlement for over 10,000 years, first inhabited by the Periku people along its rocky shores. The town lies at the southern tip of the Baja California Peninsula, where the Pacific Ocean meets the Sea of Cortez. Early European visitors called the area Yenicamu, and archaeological evidence shows continuous habitation since pre-Hispanic times. By the 19th century, Cabo San Lucas was a tiny village with only a few houses and local fishermen making their living from the sea. Cipriano Cesena is credited as the official founder in 1788, arriving from Hermosillo, Sonora. Cabo's waters are home to rays, sharks dorado, and striped marlin, making it a world-class destination for sport fishing. Modern Cabo San Lucas offers a range of activities from scuba diving to parasailing, blending its historical roots with vibrant tourism. The city has grown into one of Mexico's top destinations, while preserving its unique coastal ecology and centuries of maritime history. Guatapé sits 1,890 meters above sea level in eastern Antioquia, Colombia, surrounded by rolling hills and small farms. Its name comes from the indigenous cacique Guatapé, and it was once called La Ceja de Guatapé. Founded on October 4, 1811, by Don Francisco Giraldo y Jiménez, the town has maintained a colorful architectural tradition. In the 1970s, the construction of a hydroelectric dam flooded parts of the original town and nearby El Peñol, forcing relocation. The El Peñol Guatapé Reservoir reshaped the landscape, creating a vast lake used today for boating and tourism. Guatapé's economy historically relied on agriculture, livestock, and small-scale mining before the dam project transformed it. The town now balances its cultural heritage with modern recreation, offering scenic viewpoints and water-based activities. Imagine a landscape so stark that conquistadors in the 16th century called it the Valley of Sorrows. This is no ordinary desert. It once flourished with flowers, trees, and rivers millions of years ago. Today, the Titicaca Desert stretches over 330 square kilometers of eroded clay canyons and labyrinthine gullies. Its ochre and gray soils reveal the passage of time and the effects of ancient climate changes. Fossils found here tell stories of creatures that roamed this region long before humans arrived. Despite its arid appearance, the desert is a tropical dry forest, where cacti grow up to 5 meters high, and wildlife adapts to extreme heat and scarce water. Horizontal roots reaching 30 meters, and vertical ones 15 meters deep, allow plants to survive the harsh environment. Eagles, wildcats, turtles, and snakes navigate this rugged terrain, forming a fragile but resilient ecosystem. Covering over 6 million square kilometers, the Amazon rainforest is the largest tropical forest on Earth. It stretches across 9 countries, but the majority lies in Brazil, with mighty rivers and dense jungle weaving through every corner. Home to an estimated 390 billion trees and thousands of plant species, the forest is alive with color, sound, and movement. Millions of people, including hundreds of indigenous groups, have lived here for thousands of years, shaping the land while learning from it. The Amazon River, the lifeline of the forest, carries water from the Andes across the basin, feeding countless smaller rivers and wetlands. From above, the canopy looks like an endless green ocean, hiding creatures from tiny frogs to jaguars beneath its leaves. Explorers have searched for lost civilizations here for centuries, discovering evidence of advanced societies that farmed and built roads long before Europeans arrived. Even today, the forest remains a mix of mystery and life, with isolated tribes, hidden rivers, and countless undiscovered species. Over 800 years ago, a violent eruption reshaped the Ecuadorian Andes forever. Quilotoa is a water-filled volcanic caldera formed by a catastrophic VEI-6 eruption that sent ash across the northern Andes. The collapse of the Dacite volcano created a crater 3 kilometers wide, now holding a lake over 250 meters deep. Its greenish waters come from dissolved minerals, hinting at the volcanic activity below the surface. The caldera's rim reaches elevations above 3,900 meters, forming a rugged edge with 3 lava domes. Hiking around the crater offers views of the steep sandy trails, sometimes hidden by drifting fog. Some say that the Basilica del Voto Nacional holds a secret prophecy. When it's finally finished, the world will end. But right now, it stands as a breathtaking symbol of faith and dedication in the heart of Quito, Ecuador. Construction began back in 1883, inspired by Father Julio Matovelle, who dreamed of a monument honoring Ecuador's consecration to the Sacred Heart. President Luis Cordero issued the decree, and with the support of the community and generous donations, every stone tells a story of devotion. Architect Emilio Tarlier designed the basilica after the famous Bourges Cathedral in France, giving it an awe-inspiring neo-Gothic style that towers over the city. Over the years, even taxes on salt were used to fund its construction, showing how deeply the country wanted this masterpiece to rise. The heart of the basilica reveals beautiful arches, intricate carvings, and a sanctuary that feels both peaceful and grand at the same time. Few places on Earth hold as many ecosystems in one space as Cayambe Coca National Park. Spanning over 4,300 square kilometers, it stretches from volcanoes to lush Amazon rainforest. The park's summit, Volcan Cayambe, rises nearly 5,800 meters and is the only equatorial peak with glaciers. high-altitude Paramo grasslands are home to Frailejon plants, uniquely adapted to the cold, humid environment. Rivers and waterfalls carve valleys through the park, including thermal springs that hint at underground geothermal activity. Wildlife thrives here, from pumas to the rare Andean mountain tapir, each species finding its niche. Despite threats like deforestation, mining, and climate change, conservation initiatives help safeguard this living mosaic of life. Cayo Sombrero covers just 0.43 square kilometers, but offers some of the best beaches in Morrocoy, Venezuela. Its highest point rises only 7 meters above sea level, giving visitors gentle slopes and wide horizons. Beaches face both the open ocean and the sheltered mainland, providing different moods for swimming and relaxation. Mangroves, bushes, and scattered palm trees frame the sandy stretches, creating scenic natural corners. The island's northern lake attracts mosquitoes, but adds another layer of coastal ecology for wildlife. Average temperatures hover around 24 degrees Celsius, with October being the warmest and November the coolest month. Rainfall peaks in October, nourishing the vegetation and refreshing the coastal environment. On weekends, the island's most popular beaches can become crowded, yet the beauty of sand and sea remains undeniable. The first people to visit Los Roques were Caribbean Aborigines who came to fish, hunt turtles, and extract salt. Today, the archipelago consists of about 350 islands and cays, stretching over 40 square kilometers in the Caribbean Sea. Spanish explorers claimed the islands in the late 16th century, while Dutch traders once considered them part of Curaçao's territory. Over centuries, fishermen from Margarita Island settled here, giving many islands their key names, meaning key or island. In the 20th century, Gran Roque became the main settlement, growing from just a few hundred residents to a small community. In 1972, the Venezuelan government declared Los Roques a national park to protect its rich seabird populations and vibrant marine life. Scientific research began shortly after, studying fish, turtles, corals, and ocean ecosystems across the islands. Los Roques today balances human habitation, ecological research, and pristine natural beauty, making it a unique Caribbean treasure. Canaima National Park in southeastern Venezuela is home to these tepuis, sandstone plateaus with vertical walls and nearly flat tops. Among them, Ollantaypuy hosts Angel Falls, the world's tallest waterfall, plunging 979 meters into the forest below. Mount Roraima, another famous tepuy, is both the tallest and the most accessible, drawing adventurous travelers from around the globe. The Pemon people, indigenous to the region, believe the tepuis are home to spirits called Mawari, connecting culture to landscape. The park spans 30,000 square kilometers, roughly the size of Belgium or Maryland, and was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Canaima combines breathtaking geology, rare flora, and indigenous tradition, making it a living museum of nature and culture. Did you know that Nassau once served as the stronghold of some of the most notorious pirates in the Caribbean? In the late 17th and early 18th centuries, it became a haven for privateers who controlled the shipping lanes with daring raids. Nassau began as Charlestown in the 17th century, later renamed in honor of an English king's family. Its streets hide centuries of history, from colonial forts to elegant government buildings. The arrival of thousands of loyalists after the American Revolution reshaped the city, introducing plantations and new neighborhoods. Freed Africans resettled here after Britain abolished the slave trade, adding rich cultural traditions to the growing population. Over time, suburbs expanded along the island, slowly transforming uncultivated bush into vibrant communities. Rose Island is uninhabited, with no roads or permanent buildings, keeping its natural landscape almost untouched. Its central lagoon, about 1 square mile, supports small fish species, seabirds, and mangrove plants. A thin peninsula extends nearly 7 miles into the ocean, forming calm coves ideal for snorkeling. Centuries ago, the island hosted a pineapple plantation that supplied nearby settlements. In 1962, actress Jane Mansfield and 2 companions were stranded on nearby reefs, creating a local adventure legend. Its coastline was chosen as the backdrop for a 1965 James Bond movie, featuring a dramatic crash landing scene. Rising only 16 meters at its highest point, the island offers panoramic ocean views without any urban obstruction, Coco Cay is just under a mile long and lies about 103 kilometers northeast of Miami, serving as a private destination for Royal Caribbean guests. Its beaches feature soft white sand that stretches along the turquoise waters, perfect for sunbathing or swimming. The island has a massive water park, including one of the tallest water slides in North America, attracting thrill seekers of all ages. Kayaks, paddle boards, and small boats allow visitors to explore calm lagoons and surrounding shallow waters. Lifeguards and well-marked paths make the island safe and easy to navigate for families and older visitors. Hidden off Eleuthera, Schooner Cays stretch over 16 kilometers by 60 kilometers as a vast system of tidal sand shoals in the northern Exuma Sound. These shoals are made of oolitic sand, tiny spherical calcium grains formed over thousands of years under tidal currents. The sand layers shift with every tide, creating ever-changing patterns across shallow channels and sandbanks. Scientists study the area to understand sediment deposition, tidal flow, and coastal erosion processes. Visitors often picnic or wake in the clear water while observing the natural layout of the shoals. Schooner Cays provide a rare example of Holocene sand shoals, still evolving naturally, offering both scientific insight and pristine scenery. Look at this, turquoise waters stretching as far as the eye can see, soft sands glowing under the sun. Welcome to South Eleuthera, Bahamas. From above, the coastline seems endless, with waves gently brushing against the shore, inviting you to explore every hidden cove. South Eleuthera isn't just about beaches. It's a paradise full of secret lagoons, lush greenery, and peaceful places to just breathe and relax. You might spot someone walking along the shore, feeling the soft sand beneath their feet, while a rainbow arches over the turquoise ocean, a moment that feels almost magical. The island has a long history too, from the first Lucayan people to settlers who shaped the vibrant culture you see today. Every angle and every wave here tells a story of nature, beauty, and calm that's hard to forget. South Eleuthera isn't just a place to see, it's a place to feel, a hidden gem where paradise meets history and memories last forever. Did you know that the glittering white terraces of the salt mines of Maras aren't just pretty landscapes? For centuries, these pools have been carefully crafted by humans, not nature. Located 50 kilometers northeast of Cusco, these salt mines sit high in the Andes at an elevation of 3,200 meters, offering breathtaking views of the surrounding mountains and valleys. The mines are made up of around 4,500 small pools, arranged like steps on the hillside. People have been harvesting salt here since before the Inca Empire, with techniques passed down through generations, making this one of the oldest salt extraction centers in the world. The terraces create a magical patchwork of white, cream, and brown squares, reflecting sunlight like 1,000 tiny mirrors and changing colors with the seasons. During the dry season, from May to October, the salt crystallizes quickly, producing the famous white and pink salt, prized by locals and chefs alike. Today, around 400 families in Maras and nearby communities manage the salt wells, keeping the centuries-old tradition alive. These stones fit so perfectly, you can't even slip a piece of paper between them. This is Sacsayhuaman, the fortress of the Royal Falcon in Cusco, Peru. Built in the 15th century by the Incas, this ancient citadel rises high above the city at over 3,700 meters. The walls were made from huge stones, carefully carved and placed together without any mortar. Even today, experts are amazed at how the Incas moved these massive stones, some weighing more than a car up steep hills. Some believe they used ramps, logs, and precise carving techniques, showing incredible skill and teamwork. Every year, locals celebrate festivals like Inti Raymi and Huarachicuy here, keeping ancient traditions alive. And beyond history, the site is alive with people jogging, practicing Tai Chi, or just enjoying the breathtaking views of Cusco below. Imagine a mountain that looks like it was painted with stripes of turquoise, fiery red, and golden yellow. Welcome to Vinicunca, Peru. Also known as Rainbow Mountain, it rises high in the Andes, making the hike feel like a real adventure above the clouds. The colors aren't from paint. They come from millions of years of minerals shaped by wind, rain, and shifting rocks. Reaching the top takes effort, with a hike that can feel long and chilly, but every step brings you closer to an unforgettable view. Weather here can change fast. Sometimes snow, sometimes strong sun. So layers, good shoes, and sunscreen are must-haves. The rainbow-colored slopes and the sheer beauty surrounding you. Huascarán National Park protects most of the Cordillera Blanca, the world's highest tropical mountain range, stretching across breathtaking landscapes. Here, valleys carve deep U-shapes into the mountains, and hundreds of glacial lakes mirror the sky like giant blue jewels. From giant peaks like Huascarán, Huandoy, and Huansan, to high plateaus dotted with rushing creeks, every corner of the park is full of natural wonders. Wildlife is just as impressive. Condors, vicuñas, and other unique species call this vast area home. Huascarán National Park was carefully protected starting in the 1960s and became a UNESCO World Heritage Site, ensuring its glaciers, forests, and wildlife remain safe for generations. The park's mix of dramatic peaks, sparkling lakes, and rich biodiversity creates a landscape that feels both peaceful and wild at the same time. For decades, Isla Grande was off limits, first as a quarantine station, and later as a maximum security prison, making its forests largely untouched. The island covers roughly 75 square miles, with mountains exceeding 1,000 meters that create varied climates for plants and animals. Over 80% of Isla Grande is protected within state parks and sustainable reserves, preserving dense Atlantic rainforest. Hundreds of plant species grow here, including many that exist only on the island, supporting a rich and unique ecosystem. BirdLife International recognizes Isla Grande as a critical habitat for rare and migratory bird species, some of which are endangered. At least 20 mammal species live in its forests, from howler monkeys to small carnivores and rodents, all playing roles in ecological balance. Trails and guided excursions allow visitors to experience Isla Grande's natural beauty while minimizing environmental impact. Cabo Frio lies where Brazil's coastline sharply bends north, creating distinctive beaches and ocean currents unique to the region. The city's name, meaning Cold Cape, comes from water temperatures that are noticeably lower than in nearby coastal towns. Its soft, white sand stays cool in the sun due to low mineral content, making Cabo Frio's beaches comfortable for visitors. Reefs and sandbars along the coast form safe swimming areas and zones ideal for beginner surfers. Consistent wind patterns and tidal currents support water sports and help sustain local marine life. Rocky outcrops and cliffs provide panoramic views of the ocean, highlighting Cabo Frio's natural coastline. The city has historically been a fishing hub, supplying fresh seafood to residents and local markets. Colonial architecture and streets reflect Cabo Frio's long history, blending traditional design with modern tourism infrastructure. Christ the Redeemer towers over Rio de Janeiro from the summit of Mount Corcovado, becoming a symbol of the city and the nation. The first idea for a statue on Corcovado was proposed in the 1850s, but approval came only in 1921, nearly 70 years later. The Brazilian engineer Heitor da Silva Costa led the project, designing a figure with arms spread wide to be visible across the city. Construction started in 1926 and lasted 5 years, involving hundreds of workers who transported materials up steep slopes. The statue is made of reinforced concrete and covered with thousands of triangular soapstone tiles to withstand weather and time. Its height reaches almost 30 meters, while the arm span extends roughly 28 meters, making it one of the largest Art Deco statues globally. Christ the Redeemer has been renovated several times, including major surface repairs in 2010 and installation of elevators for visitor access. Since its dedication in 1931, the statue has drawn millions of visitors and remains an enduring landmark of faith, engineering, and Brazilian history. Arraial do Cabo lies along Brazil's Atlantic coast in Rio de Janeiro state, roughly 140 kilometers from the city of Rio de Janeiro. Its territory spans around 160 square kilometers, featuring extensive beaches, dunes, lagoons, and rocky coastal formations. Founded in 1503, Arraial do Cabo was historically a crucial point for navigation, though treacherous reefs caused numerous shipwrecks. The city's waters are exceptionally clear, making it a top destination for diving enthusiasts from Brazil and abroad. Marine species such as sea turtles, stingrays, dolphins, and large reef fish thrive in the surrounding ecosystem. Arraial do Cabo experiences warm, humid weather with summer temperatures averaging 25 degrees Celsius and mild winters around 17 to 23 degrees Celsius. Combining striking coastal geography and rich biodiversity, Arraial do Cabo is recognized as a leading location for both recreation and ecological study. On a sunny peninsula in Brazil, there's a charming seaside town called Buzios, surrounded by 17 beautiful beaches. Long ago, it was just a quiet fishing village, until the 1960s when French actress Brigitte Bardot visited and fell in love with its magic. Her visit turned Buzios into one of Brazil's most famous and stylish beach resorts. The streets are still lined with cobblestones, and the waterfront feels like a touch of the Mediterranean, thanks to its Portuguese past. Each beach has its own mood: calm, clear waters on the west, and wild waves for surfers on the east. Its history includes whaling, fishing, and the blending of cultures over hundreds of years. Buzios is a place where golden sunsets, rich history, and vibrant culture meet the endless blue sea. There's one place where 275 waterfalls join together to create something so powerful, it can make the ground shake. This is Iguazu Falls. Located on the border between Argentina and Brazil, Iguazu Falls is the largest waterfall system in the world. The falls stretch about 2.7 kilometers, with drops ranging from 60 to 82 meters. Around half of the river's flow plunges into a deep, narrow canyon known as the Devil's Throat, 80 to 90 meters wide and up to 80 meters deep. The rest of the water splits into smaller cascades, sometimes over 200 of them during the flood season. These waterfalls flow over basalt rock layers that are more than 1,000 meters thick, formed millions of years ago by volcanic activity. The Iguazu River begins near Curitiba in Brazil, and for most of its journey, it winds through Brazil before reaching this dramatic border. From certain viewpoints, you can see where Argentina, Brazil, and Paraguay meet, a rare sight in the world. In 2013, The falls were recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site for both their natural beauty and geological significance. Tucked between Maceió and Recife, Japaratinga is a quiet stretch of Brazil's coral coast where time seems to slow down. Only 10 minutes from Maragogi, it feels like another world, softer, calmer, and far less crowded. The coastline runs for 15 kilometers, a ribbon of sand framed by swaying coconut palms in the warm Atlantic. When the tide retreats, the beach transforms, revealing golden sandbanks and shallow pools, so clear you can see every seashell. Villages along the shore hide their own treasures: Baitingui, Boqueirão, and Pontal, each with quiet waters and room to breathe. During low tide, the coral reefs form natural lagoons, turning the shoreline into a necklace of turquoise and green. Inland, the coconut groves meet tropical forest, a landscape shaped by heavy rains and rich coastal life. Angel Falls is so high, it's almost 3 times taller than the Eiffel Tower. Here, in the heart of Venezuela's Canaima National Park, this giant drops nearly a kilometer straight down from the edge of a flat-topped mountain called Ollantaytambo. The water falls so far that by the time it reaches the bottom, much of it has turned into mist, floating through the rainforest like a dream. Locals call it Carapacupai Maru, the waterfall of the deepest place, a name passed down for generations. But the world came to know it as Angel Falls after a daring American pilot named Jimmy Angel flew over it in 1933. Today, reaching Angel Falls still feels like an expedition. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, it's a place where the rainforest hums with life and clouds brush against the cliffs. In the Tupi language, Jericoacoara means lair of turtles, from the words for sea turtle and hole. Yet some fishermen believe the name comes from Cerote Hill, which when seen from the sea looks like an alligator, Jacaraquara. Whether it's turtles or alligators, both stories are part of the village's charm. In 1499, Captain Vicente Yáñez Pinzón anchored his ship here, though the Treaty of Tordesillas kept it off the official record. For centuries, Jericoacoara remained a quiet fishing village with no roads, no electricity, and streets paved with sand. That began to change in 1984, when it was declared an environmental protection area and later a national park in 2002. Even now, building restrictions keep out big hotels, and street lighting is forbidden by law. Visitors arrive by unpaved tracks through the dunes, finding beaches, lagoons, and palm-lined breezes. The Punau River flows through the municipality of Rio de Fogo in Brazil's Rio Grande do Norte state. Its waters are fresh and dark, yet influenced by the ocean tides. The river begins inland and travels toward the coast, ending at Barra de Puno Beach. Around the river, mangroves and lagoons form a rich and diverse ecosystem. Local families rely on small-scale farming, growing pumpkin, potato, and cassava. The meeting point of river and sea here creates a unique landscape of sand, water, and vegetation. From Natal, it takes about 86 kilometers to reach this blend of nature and local life. When you think of lakes, you probably picture blue water, right? But here in Bolivia, there's a lake so red, it could fool you into thinking it's been painted by the sunset itself. This is Laguna Colorada. Sitting high in the Bolivian Andes, over 4,200 meters above sea level, this shallow salt lake is unlike anything you've ever seen. The deep red color comes from tiny algae and minerals in the water, glowing even brighter under the high-altitude sun. White borax islands float on the surface, looking like patches of snow in a sea of crimson. This place isn't just about stunning colors. It's a sanctuary for wildlife. Hundreds of graceful flamingos gather here, turning this scene into a living postcard. The best time to see Laguna Colorada is during the dry season, from May to November, when the colors shine brightest and the weather is perfect for exploring. Ushuaia is the southernmost city in the world, located on the main island of Tierra del Fuego in Argentina. Its name comes from the Yagan language, meaning deep bay, or bay to background. The city sits in a wide bay on the southern coast, bordered by the Marshall Mountain Range to the north and the Beagle Channel to the south. Ushuaia was first settled in 1870 by the English missionary Wasti H. Sterling. In 1884, an Argentine naval base was established, and by 1893, Ushuaia was officially declared a city. Today, it serves as a port, a light industrial center, and a popular tourist destination. The city is also one of 5 internationally recognized gateway cities to Antarctica, roughly 1,100 kilometers from the Antarctic Peninsula. Surrounded by glaciers, mountains, and the waters of the Beagle Channel, Ushuaia offers a unique combination of adventure and natural beauty. Torres del Paine National Park is located in southern Chilean Patagonia, about 112 kilometers north of Puerto Natales. Its name comes from the native Tehuelche word paine, meaning blue. The park was established in 1959 and covers roughly 181,414 hectares of mountains, glaciers, lakes, and rivers. The centerpiece is the Cordillera del Paine, with 3 granite peaks known as Torre d'Agostini, Torre Central, and Torre Monzino. These towers rise up to 2,500 meters above sea level and are connected by the Cuernos del Paine, or Horns of Paine. Torres del Paine sits between the Magellanic subpolar forests and the Patagonian steppes, creating unique landscapes. Each year, around 252,000 visitors explore the park, with more than half coming from other countries, drawn by its dramatic scenery. Did you know the Atacama Desert is so dry that some areas get less rainfall than even polar deserts? Stretching 1,600 kilometers along northern Chile, it is the longest desert plateau in South America. Its barren landscapes are trapped between the towering Andes and the Chilean Coast Range, creating a natural double rain shadow. Cool currents from the Humboldt Ocean and a powerful Pacific anticyclone keep temperatures surprisingly mild, despite the arid conditions. Scientists often call it Mars on Earth because its terrain resembles the red planet's surface. In December 2023, researchers discovered a new area in the Puna de Atacama that resembles Earth during the Archean Eon. This ancient-like land may mirror the environment where the first life forms appeared on our planet. Atacama is also the largest fog desert in the world, with mysterious mist drifting across its salt flats and valleys. Easter Island, also known as Rapa Nui, is one of the most remote inhabited islands on Earth, over 3,500 kilometers from mainland Chile. It is world famous for nearly 1,000 monumental statues called moai, created by the early Rapa Nui people. Scholars debate when Polynesians first arrived, some say around 800 AD, while newer studies suggest closer to 1200 AD. The island's original forests were cleared over centuries, partly due to agriculture and the introduction of Polynesian rats. By the 19th century, European diseases and Peruvian slave raids had reduced the population to just over 100 native inhabitants. The island's name, Easter Island, comes from Dutch explorer Jacob Roggeveen, who arrived on Easter Sunday in 1722. Its Polynesian name, Rapa Nui, means Big Rapa, reflecting its resemblance to another island in the Austral Islands. Despite its turbulent history, Rapa Nui culture thrived, leaving behind extraordinary artifacts and traditions. Tongoi's name, meaning hammer strikes, hints at a past shaped by the industrious Diaguitas and their copper mines. Centuries ago, the Changos sailed these waters on rafts made of sea lion leather, hunting fish with bone harpoons. Legend says the bay once sheltered Francis Drake's hidden treasure, a mystery that still sparks the imagination. In 1687, local militias defended Tongoi from invading buccaneers, making the bay a historic battlefield. The town also nurtured Chile's national poet, Victor Domingo Silva, whose birthplace overlooks the shimmering bay. By the 19th century, copper from nearby mines was shipped through Tongoi, aided by railways, wharves, and smelting ovens. Even after the 2015 tsunami reshaped parts of the coastline, Tongoi draws summer visitors from across Chile and Argentina, keeping the town vibrant. Few people realize that Colboon Lake stores more water than some small countries consume in a year. Constructed between 1980 and 1985, the reservoir captures the Maul River for electricity and irrigation. Its creation transformed farmland in Talca and Linares, enabling crops to survive dry seasons. The dam's turbines supply a substantial portion of central Chile's electricity grid. Water levels are carefully managed to balance energy production with farming needs. Mountain snowmelt feeds the lake, keeping water remarkably clear and consistent year-round. In summer, temperatures reach around 23 degrees Celsius, attracting visitors for swimming and kayaking. Local authorities have developed tourist services, including accommodations, fishing, and guided tours. Valle Nevado was founded in 1988 by French entrepreneurs determined to bring European-style skiing to Chile. The resort features 34 slopes, with terrains ranging from beginner-friendly trails to expert runs above 3,000 meters. Chile's first mountain cable car, installed in 2013, opened areas previously accessible only by foot. Snowfall between June and October creates reliable conditions for winter sports. Ski schools train hundreds of beginners each season, while advanced trails challenge professional athletes. Hotels, equipment rentals, and restaurants allow tourists to enjoy long stays without leaving the slopes. Additional lifts and expanded slopes between 2008 and 2010 increased both capacity and slope variety. Bahia Inglesa, near Caldera, earned 74th place among the world's top 100 beaches in 2024. Its calm, shallow waters make swimming and snorkeling accessible to visitors of all ages. The area once marked Chile's northern border and hosted the country's first railway in the 19th century. White sand stretches uninterrupted along the coast, offering solitude even during peak season. Sunlight is almost constant throughout the year, thanks to the region's arid climate. Visitors enjoy clear water, warm temperatures, and quiet beaches for relaxation and family recreation. Bahia Inglesa combines striking coastal scenery with historical significance in Chile's northern development. Long before skyscrapers, Honolulu was known as Cove, a small district that now forms the heart of downtown. As Hawaii's capital since 1845, it has witnessed the rise and fall of kingdoms, becoming the gateway to the Pacific. December 7, 1941, transformed the city forever when Pearl Harbor came under attack, making Honolulu a focal point in world history. Today, the harbor still hosts the United States Pacific Fleet, the largest naval command on Earth. Honolulu sits uniquely as both the westernmost and southernmost major U.S. city, blending cultures from Asia, the West, and the Pacific. The city's tropical climate and long stretches of white sand beaches attract tourists from around the globe, nearly 1.5 million in 2024 alone. Beyond tourism, Honolulu thrives as a hub for business, finance, hospitality, and military defense in Oceania. Step into Tongass National Forest, and you'll see Alaska like never before. The forest covers 16.7 million acres, including islands of the Alexander Archipelago, fjords, glaciers, and the peaks of the coast mountains. Most of the land is temperate rainforest, filled with towering Sitka spruce, western red cedar, and western hemlock trees. Brown and black bears roam the forest, while 5 species of salmon swim in its rivers, and bald eagles soar overhead. Three Alaska Native nations, the Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian, have called this land home for thousands of years. Along the coastline, sea otters, orcas, and humpback whales can be seen, while migratory birds like Arctic terns nest on the islands. About 40% of the Tongass is wetlands, snow, ice, and rock, but the remaining 10 million acres are productive forest, with 5 million acres of old growth preserved as wilderness. Some rare species live only here and in a few other places, making the Tongass truly one of the most unique forests on Earth. Did you know Hanauma Bay was formed by a volcanic explosion just 32,000 years ago? A series of volcanic vents opened along Oahu's southeast shoreline, and when magma met ocean water, it caused powerful steam explosions. The blasts threw ash, coral, and basalt into the air, which later hardened into the tough crater we see today. Over thousands of years, waves eroded the low southeast wall, forming the curved bay that attracts millions of visitors. Hanauma Bay is now a marine life conservation district, home to over 400 species of fish and many green sea turtles called honu, which use the bay as a nursery. In 2014 and 2015, almost half of the coral suffered from bleaching due to rising ocean temperatures, showing how fragile this ecosystem is. Visitors are required by law not to touch the coral or marine animals to protect them. From its violent volcanic origins to its rich marine life today, Hanauma Bay offers a glimpse into both the island's geological history and its underwater biodiversity. This is Kauai, also known as the Garden Isle, where green mountains meet blue ocean and waterfalls hide in quiet valleys. The island's name might mean place around the neck or food season, showing how important family and nature were to the first Hawaiians. Polynesian explorers arrived here hundreds of years ago, long before Europeans knew these islands existed. In 1778, Captain James Cook visited Kauai, and the locals were amazed by his big wooden ship. Even a single iron nail was very valuable to them. Kauai stayed independent for a long time, even when the King of Hawaii tried to take control. Storms and sickness helped the islanders stay free. In the 1800s, sugarcane plantations changed the island. They shaped towns, farms, and the lives of the people for more than 100 years. Today, Kauai is full of life, history, and amazing scenery. Snoqualmie Falls' rising mist is believed to carry their prayers upward, linking the human and spiritual realms. The falls rise 268 feet along the Snoqualmie River, producing mist believed to connect earth and heaven. For the Snoqualmie people, the site has been sacred for centuries, central to ceremonies and prayers. High water after heavy rains transforms the falls into a powerful curtain, visible for miles. Local legend says that first woman and first man were created at Snoqualmie Falls by Moon the Transformer. More than 1.5 million visitors come each year to experience the falls and the surrounding park. In 2009, the falls were officially listed on the National Register of Historic Places as a traditional cultural property. San Juan Islands lies between Washington State and Vancouver Island, forming the heart of San Juan County. Four main islands are accessible by car or foot through the Washington State ferry system. Nineteenth-century logging cleared much of the forest, but second-growth Douglas fir, red alder, and bigleaf maple now dominate. Small patches of old-growth Douglas fir and western red cedar remain within long-held private lands. Higher elevations support subalpine trees, including grand fir and western hemlock. The island's varied terrain creates rich habitats for birds, marine life, and terrestrial wildlife. Visitors often encounter bald eagles perched in treetops or soaring along the shoreline. The San Juan Islands offer a living example of how ecosystems recover and thrive after historical human impact. Over 100 years ago, a small dam called the Garza Dam created what we now know as Louisville Lake. At first, the lake was mainly built to control flooding and provide water to the city of Dallas. In the 1940s and 1950s, engineers expanded it by combining Lake Dallas, Hickory Creek, and Little Elm Creek to make a much bigger lake. The Louisville Dam, finished in 1955, stretches over 32,888 feet and created a lake with 183 miles of shoreline. Louisville Lake covers 29,000 acres and is surrounded by 9,000 acres of protected nature, making it perfect for outdoor activities. Fishing is really popular here with largemouth bass, catfish, crappie white bass, and even hybrid striped bass that attract anglers from all over. Louisville Lake Park on the South Shore has hiking and biking trails, picnic areas, camping spots, and easy access for boating and sailing. Aransas Pass connects the Texas mainland to Mustang Island through a 6-mile-long causeway and a free vehicle ferry. The city spans 3 counties, Aransas, Nueces, and San Patricio, with just over 8,000 residents as of 2021. It sits on the shore of Redfish Bay, between Corpus Christi Bay to the south and Aransas Bay to the north. About 76% of the city's total area is water, giving it one of the highest water-to-land ratios in Texas. The tidal waters of Redfish Bay support boating, fishing, and local tourism throughout the year. Aransas Pass serves as a gateway for travelers heading to Port Aransas and the Gulf Coast beaches. The city combines residential life with maritime activity, making it both a coastal community and a transport hub. Many people assume this coastal bay are untouched, but Nueces Bay faces challenges from industrial pollution and freshwater diversion. Fed by the Nueces River, the bay forms a natural estuary crucial for fish, shellfish, and migratory birds. Agricultural lands on the northern shore remain in the hands of descendants of early settlers. Construction of Choke Canyon Reservoir in 1985 reduced freshwater inflow, increasing salinity and affecting oyster and shrimp habitats. Efforts by the City of Corpus Christi and Texas Parks and Wildlife aim to restore natural freshwater flows. The bay supports a variety of birds, including black skimmers, brown pelicans, great blue herons, egrets, and roseate spoonbills. Conservation work here helps keep Nueces Bay productive for fishing, birds, and the local communities that depend on it. The Rocky Mountains began forming 55 to 80 million years ago, long before humans existed. Tectonic plates sliding beneath North America pushed up a vast chain of peaks, stretching over 3,000 miles. Glaciers carved many of the valleys, leaving jagged cliffs and alpine lakes that still define the range. The highest summits are mostly in Colorado, where average elevations exceed 2,000 meters. Humans arrived after the last ice age, using rivers and forests for hunting, fishing, and shelter. European explorers like Lewis and Clark navigated the Rockies, mapping its rivers and mountain passes. Minerals and fur drove early commerce, but the rugged terrain prevented large-scale settlements. Today, protected parks allow visitors to hike, camp, ski, and experience the wilderness much as early inhabitants did. Most people think Las Vegas exists only for gambling, but its origin comes from life-sustaining desert springs. Spanish explorers in 1829 called the area Las Vegas because fertile meadows appeared around natural water sources. Before casinos, the southern Paiute people spent winters in the valley, moving to higher grounds in summer. The city officially incorporated in 1911, growing from a small oasis to a global entertainment hub. Today, more than 40 million visitors arrive annually to enjoy shows, fine dining, and nightlife. Its nickname, Sin City, highlights the contrast between strict U.S. laws elsewhere and the freedom the city offers. Las Vegas also hosts major business conventions, making it both a leisure and professional destination. Las Vegas challenges assumptions, showing how natural resources, culture, and ambition can transform a desert into one of the world's most famous cities. From above, the Colorado River bends in a perfect horseshoe, but look closer and you'll see the story of millions of years hidden in the rocks below. Horseshoe Bend isn't just a view, it's a window into the Earth's incredible history. Around 6 million years ago, this land began to rise, pushing the river downwards and carving the deep canyon we see today. The towering walls are made of Navajo sandstone, a rock formed from ancient desert sands over 100 million years ago. As the river slowly cut through the softer layers, it created the perfect curve that gives Horseshoe Bend its name. Standing on the edge, more than 300 meters above the water, you can feel the power of time and nature all around you. Many visitors come here to watch the sunrise or sunset, when the colors of the rocks glow like fire. For now, it remains one of the most photographed and breathtaking spots in Arizona. Crested Butte is a mountain in Colorado's Elk Mountains, rising over 12,000 feet inside Gunnison National Forest. The town of Crested Butte lies just a few miles south at the base of the mountain along Gothic Road. The north side of the mountain is home to Crested Butte Mountain Resort, with ski lifts and several ski runs. Winter here brings heavy snow, often several feet, and temperatures that can drop well below freezing. Summers are mild, with average temperatures in the 50s Fahrenheit, perfect for hiking and outdoor exploration. The mountain's steep cliffs and rocky slopes are part of the larger Rocky Mountains range. Crested Butte is a hub for outdoor activities year-round, including skiing, snowboarding, hiking, and mountain biking. Kepler Pass stretches from Crested Butte to Paonia, winding gently through the West Elk Mountains. In autumn, its aspens transform into a vivid tapestry of gold and orange that seems to glow against the surrounding evergreens. The 30-mile drive takes about 2 hours, following a mostly gravel path that opens only from late May to early November. Though it's a dirt road, the grades are gentle, making it accessible for passenger vehicles and even casual drivers. Hikers and bikers often explore the surrounding trails, finding quiet alpine meadows and hidden streams. Peaks tower in the distance, offering a constant reminder of the Rockies' rugged scale. Camping along the pass provides an immersive experience in the forest. Kebler Pass isn't just a road, it's a seasonal journey through Colorado's most iconic mountain colors. From June to October, the warm Pacific waters off Puerto Lopez become a stage for an extraordinary natural spectacle. Humpback whales migrate here to mate and give birth, drawing visitors eager to witness their acrobatics and songs. The town itself is a small fishing village where local boats set out daily for tuna, marlin, and wahoo. Coral reefs surrounding the island shelter tropical fish, creating perfect conditions for snorkeling and marine exploration. The combination of ocean, wildlife, and cultural traditions makes Puerto Lopez a hub for ecotourism in Ecuador. Local legend says the devil himself inspired the waterfall's name. Pilón del Diablo, the Devil's Cauldron, has been called this since the 1940s. The waterfall is formed by the Rio Verde River, which plunges into the Pastaza River just after its dramatic drop. At approximately 80 meters tall, it is Ecuador's largest waterfall as of the 2020s, attracting visitors from near and far. Locals say the rocks near the falls even resemble a devil's face, adding to the mystical and powerful aura of the place. In the 1940s, Angel Lascano and others in Rio Verde came up with the name, despite objections from the local Catholic Church. For much of the 20th century, Pilón del Diablo remained relatively hidden due to poor road access, keeping it a secret wonder. In the 1990s, new pathways and viewing areas were developed on both the Baños and Puyo sides, making it easier for tourists to experience the waterfall's full power. The striking red walls of the Vermilion Cliffs are actually the remnants of desert dunes that hardened over 190 million years ago. Their deep reds come from iron oxide, while hints of blue and purple reveal manganese deposits, painting a surreal palette across the cliffs. The cliffs form the second step of the Grand Staircase, a sequence of enormous geological layers stretching across the Colorado Plateau. Jacob Hamblin, a 19th century Mormon pioneer, once settled at the cliff's base, navigating these dramatic landscapes by wagon. Protected areas like Vermilion Cliffs National Monument preserve over 112,000 acres of wilderness, home to rare wildlife and fragile desert ecosystems. Canyons, eroded rock formations, and the famous wave nearby make the cliffs a playground for geologists and photographers alike. Even seasoned explorers pause to marvel at the cliff's vertical faces, which rise hundreds of feet above the surrounding desert floor. Sedona is a small city in northern Arizona, surrounded by the beautiful Coconino National Forest. The area is famous for its pink sandstone rocks, which glow in bright colors at sunrise and sunset. These rocks make perfect spots for hiking, mountain biking, and even quiet reflection. The city got its name from Sedona Schneble, whose husband was the first postmaster, and people thought the name sounded pretty. The first settlers arrived in the late 1800s, farming and raising animals in Oak Creek Canyon. Sedona started growing as a tourist and vacation town in the 1950s, and most of the buildings you see today were added in the 1980s and 1990s. One of the city's highlights is the Chapel of the Holy Cross, built into a red rock cliff with a large cross inside. Sedona's stunning landscapes have also been featured in many Hollywood movies over the years. The area has experienced wildfires, like the Brins Fire in 2006 and the Slide Fire in 2014, but the forests and canyons continue to recover and remain beautiful. Imagine walking through rocks that seem to blaze under the sun, yet these fiery formations have stood untouched for 150 million years. Valley of Fire State Park sprawls across nearly 46,000 acres of desert landscape, where red Aztec sandstone glows as if lit from within. The park's jagged cliffs and eroded formations were sculpted by ancient shifting sand dunes, later hardened by geological forces into the shapes seen today. Petroglyphs etched by the ancestral Puebloans reveal that humans have marveled at this fiery landscape for over 2 millennia. The Civilian Conservation Corps built roads, trails, and cabins here during the 1930s, making the wilderness accessible while preserving its raw beauty. Valley of Fire lies just 50 miles northeast of Las Vegas, yet it feels like another world entirely, far from the neon glow of the Strip. visitors encounter petrified trees, limestone outcrops, and hidden canyons amid sweeping vistas that change color with every shift of sunlight. Rising 120 feet above its sandy floor, Antelope Canyon captures sunlight in a way that transforms stone into glowing ribbons of color. Upper and Lower Antelope Canyon together form one of the most photographed slot canyon systems in the American Southwest. The Navajo consider the canyon sacred, framing their minds and hearts in respect before even stepping inside, and bless it every 4 years to honor its formation. They call it the place where water runs through rocks, yet this canyon's twisting corridors were carved entirely by ancient floods over hundreds of years. While the terrain is deceptively flat, navigating the sandy floors and tight corridors requires care, especially in the lower section with its stairways and ladders. Photographers flock here at midday between March and October, when shafts of sunlight pierce the canyon, illuminating oranges, pinks, and golds. Every curve and swirl of sandstone reflects the slow, patient power of water over time, creating forms no artist could replicate. The Painted Desert stretches from the east end of Grand Canyon National Park into Petrified Forest National Park, forming a striking expanse of badlands. Its layered rocks display vivid colors, including reds, pinks, and occasional shades of lavender. These colors come from iron and manganese compounds within the siltstone, mudstone, and shale of the Triassic Chinle Formation. Thin limestone and volcanic layers cap many mesas, preserving the dramatic landscape against erosion. Fossilized remains of coniferous forests from the Triassic period are scattered throughout, offering a glimpse into ancient ecosystems. Wind and water continue to shape the terrain, exposing more layers and revealing petrified logs and dinosaur tracks. Hiking trails within the protected wilderness let visitors experience the desert's colors and geology up close. Did you know the Statue of Liberty was almost purely a gift of friendship between France and the United States, rather than a monument built by the US alone? French historian Édouard de La Boulaye proposed the statue in 1865 to celebrate shared democratic values. Sculptor Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi designed the figure, hammering copper sheets over a steel framework created by Gustave Eiffel. Completed in France in 1884, the statue was disassembled and shipped to New York, arriving in 1885. President Grover Cleveland dedicated the statue on October 28, 1886, marking it as a symbol of freedom and democracy. Over the years, the torch has been updated, including its conversion to electric light in 1916 and restoration with gold leaf in 1986. Ellis Island was added to the monument in 1965, expanding the protected area to include the historic immigration site. Today, visitors can reach observation decks in the pedestal and crown, connecting physically to more than a century of American history and symbolism. Miami is a coastal city in Florida, located between the Everglades and the Atlantic Ocean. Miami's skyline features more than 300 high-rises, including dozens of towers taller than 490 feet. The beaches along Biscayne Bay attract millions of visitors every year for sunbathing, swimming, and water sports. Miami has a majority Hispanic population, giving the city a lively mix of Latin music, culture, and Cuban cuisine. Downtown is a center for international finance and trade, and Port Miami is the world's busiest cruise port. The city is known for its Art Deco architecture, tropical gardens, and a strong arts and cultural scene. Major hospitals and the University of Miami's Medical Center make the city a hub for healthcare and research. Because of its ties to Latin America and diverse population, Miami is often called the gateway to Latin America. A Jupiter, Florida, is named after the Roman god of light and the sky due to a series of historical map errors. Originally, the area was home to the Hobe Indian tribe along the Loxahatchee River. During the Seminole Wars in 1838, the battles of the Loxahatchee took place near the present town. The Jupiter Inlet Lighthouse, completed in 1860, remains the town's most notable landmark. Painted red in 1910 to protect against humidity, the lighthouse has endured storms, including Hurricane Jeanne in 2004. Jupiter and nearby Juno Beach derive their names from mythological Roman gods, reflecting historical misinterpretations. The town has been recognized for its quality of life, ranking among the top beach towns in the U.S. over multiple years. Today, Jupiter is celebrated for its mix of historical significance, coastal beauty, and vibrant community life. Imagine stepping into a city where golden beaches meet sparkling blue waters. Welcome to Montego Bay, Jamaica. Also called Mo Bay by locals, it's the second largest English-speaking city in the Caribbean, full of life and color. Montego Bay has a fascinating history that stretches back to the Arawak people, the island's first inhabitants, who greeted Christopher Columbus in 1494. Under Spanish and then British rule, the city grew as a major sugarcane port, shaping the culture and economy of the region for centuries. But Montego Bay also carries stories of struggle and courage, like the Christmas Rebellion led by Samuel Sharp, whose fight for freedom changed Jamaica forever. Surrounded by rivers and lush hills, the city's natural beauty is as impressive as its rich culture and colorful past. Montego Bay isn't just a destination, it's a place where history, adventure, and breathtaking scenery come together to create memories you'll never forget. From the northern edge of Cuba to the southern tip of the United States, there's a place where cultures, oceans, and skies meet in one magical spot. This is Key West, a tiny island just 4 miles long and 1 mile wide, but bursting with life and color. Key West is the southernmost city in the continental U.S., and it's where the Gulf of Mexico meets the Atlantic Ocean. The island is a favorite stop for cruise ships, and its warm, tropical weather even made it the perfect spot for President Truman's winter White House. People say that walking along the waterfront, watching the sun sink into the horizon, feels like stepping into a painting. You can feel the island's history everywhere, from the old naval base to the charming pastel-colored homes. Key West truly lives by its motto, one human family, welcoming everyone with open arms. Every corner invites you to explore, every sunset reminds you to pause, and every breeze carries the spirit of adventure. Deep Creek Lake was once a forested valley until engineers transformed it into a 3,900-acre reservoir in the 1920s. The Deep Creek Dam, completed in 1925, provided electricity and reshaped the local environment. The lake holds 106,000 acre-feet of water, enough to supply surrounding communities and support wildlife. Aquatic birds and freshwater fish thrive alongside human recreation in this engineered ecosystem. Maryland purchased the lake in 2000, opening Deep Creek Lake State Park for public enjoyment. Boating, hiking, and fishing attract visitors looking for outdoor adventure close to nature. Today, it serves as both a recreational hub and a reminder of early 20th century hydroelectric innovation. Deep in Missouri, there's a castle ruin that looks like it jumped straight out of a European fairy tale. This is Ha Ha Tonka State Park, a place full of hidden caves, sparkling springs, and dramatic cliffs overlooking the Lake of the Ozarks. Ha Ha Tonka was built in the early 1900s by Robert McClure Snyder Sr., who wanted a summer home inspired by 16th century European castles. After Snyder's death in a car accident in 1906, his sons completed the mansion in the early 1920s before the stock market crash. The castle was later used as a hotel in the late 1930s, but a fire in 1942 left it in ruins. Today, visitors can explore the park's caves, sinkholes, and bluffs, which are classic examples of karst topography. A 70-acre portion of the park was designated as the Ha Ha Tonka Karst Natural Area in 1981 to protect its unique geological features. The name Ha Ha Tonka, meaning big laugh or smiling waters, comes from the natural springs scattered across the property. The Black Hills are considered sacred by the Lakota and several other Native American tribes, known as Pahasapa. These isolated mountains rise dramatically from the Great Plains, their dark forests giving the range its name. Black Elk Peak, the highest point in South Dakota, towers over the surrounding valleys. In 1868, the U.S. government promised the Black Hills forever to the Sioux in the Fort Laramie Treaty. However, the discovery of gold by George Armstrong Custer's expedition in 1874 shattered that promise. A gold rush followed, bringing miners and settlers from Colorado and Montana into the region. The resulting conflict led to the Black Hills War and the forced relocation of the Lakota to smaller reservations. Despite these tragedies, the Black Hills remain a center of cultural heritage, hiking, and natural beauty. Visitors can explore forests, valleys, and peaks while reflecting on the land's deep historical significance. Big Sur is a rugged section of California's central coast, where the Santa Lucia Mountains rise directly from the Pacific Ocean. The area features steep cliffs, deep canyons, and coastal terraces formed by tectonic uplift and marine erosion. About 60% of Big Sur land is owned by government or private agencies that strictly prohibit construction and development. The Big Sur Local Coastal Plan, adopted in 1986, regulates building and land use to preserve natural scenery and wildlife habitats. Highway 1 follows the coastline, providing carefully planned viewpoints while protecting surrounding forests and cliffs. The region receives between 4.5 and 7 million visitors annually, yet limited infrastructure helps prevent environmental degradation. Redwood forests, coastal scrub, and marine terraces support wildlife including sea otters and peregrine falcons. Protected hiking trails, beaches, and cliffs maintain the landscape's natural state and geological features. Carrizo Plain is a vast open grassland in southeastern San Luis Obispo County, California, stretching about 50 miles long and 15 miles wide. It is the largest remaining native grassland in California, offering a rare glimpse of the state's original landscape. The southern portion is protected as Carrizo Plain National Monument, covering nearly 247,000 acres and including most of the Caliente Range. Soda Lake sits at the center of the plain, a 3,000-acre alkaline lake that collects water from the surrounding hills. The Temblor Range rises along the northeastern edge, while Caliente Mountain stands as the highest point in the county at over 5,100 feet. The San Andreas Fault runs along the eastern side of the plain, creating visible fractures and shifting creek beds like Wallace Creek. Visitors can access the plain via State Routes 166 and 58, connected by Soda Lake Road, though parts of the road can become muddy and impassable after rain. Los Angeles, or LA, is the largest city in California and a major cultural, commercial, and financial center of Southern California. LA lies in a basin by the Pacific Ocean, stretching through the Santa Monica Mountains and San Fernando Valley, and bordering the San Gabriel Valley to the east. The area was originally inhabited by the Tongva people, and the city was founded on September 4th, 1781, as El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora, La Reina de Los Angeles. Los Angeles became part of the United States in 1848 after the Mexican-American War and was incorporated as a city in 1850. The discovery of oil in the 1890s and the construction of the Los Angeles Aqueduct in 1913 fueled rapid growth and development. LA is a global hub for film and television, home to Hollywood, the busiest container port in the Americas, and a diverse economy with a $1 trillion metropolitan GDP. The city has hosted the Summer Olympics twice, in 1932 and 1984, and will host again in 2028, showcasing its international cultural significance. Over 150 years ago, Yosemite National Park became the first land in the United States set aside to protect nature. Indigenous tribes, including the Ahwahneechee, lived in Yosemite for nearly 4,000 years, hunting deer and gathering acorns. European settlers first explored Yosemite in the early 1800s, drawn by its towering cliffs and powerful waterfalls. In 1864, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Yosemite Grant, preserving the valley and setting a precedent for national parks. Geologists later found that glaciers carved Yosemite Valley's deep gorges and sculpted its granite cliffs over millions of years. John Muir and other conservationists fought to protect the surrounding areas, helping Yosemite become a national park in 1890. Yosemite National Park covers nearly 760,000 acres, including wilderness, rivers, and giant sequoia groves. Park scientists monitor wildlife and ecosystems to maintain biodiversity and prevent human impact. Death Valley National Park contains the lowest point in North America, lying more than 280 feet below sea level. The valley formed through tectonic activity, where the land sank between mountain ranges over millions of years. Salt flats in Death Valley are remnants of ancient lakes that existed during wetter periods in its history. Death Valley regularly experiences some of the highest temperatures on Earth, occasionally exceeding 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Plants such as creosote bushes and Joshua trees in Death Valley survive extreme heat by storing water and developing deep roots. Animals like bighorn sheep and the endangered pupfish have adapted to survive in Death Valley's harsh desert environment. Native American tribes, including the Timbisha, traveled seasonally across Death Valley for food, water, and shelter. In the late 19th century, miners extracted borax and other minerals using 20 mule teams to cross Death Valley. Today, Death Valley National Park protects vast wilderness, showing how life endures in one of the harshest landscapes in the Americas. Star Valley earned its name as the Star of all valleys, praised for its sweeping landscapes and promise of fertile land. Native tribes had long revered these mountains, leaving behind sacred structures that still whisper their stories. Hunters and trappers traveled through the valley in the early 1800s, drawn by abundant game and salt deposits. By the 1850s, immigrants following the Oregon Trail began passing through, leaving fleeting traces of their journey. True settlement began in the late 1870s, when pioneers recognized its potential for farming and community building. They constructed sawmills, homes, and small farms, laying the foundation for a thriving and close-knit community. The valley earned the nickname Little Switzerland for its breathtaking landscapes, rolling hills, and charming mountain scenery. $2.1 million years ago, a volcano so immense that its eruption reshaped the continent's landscape. Yellowstone sits atop this colossal hotspot, where molten rock simmers beneath the surface, fueling one of the world's most dramatic geological regions. Over millions of years, eruptions created a caldera stretching 30 by 45 miles, forming the basin that cradles Yellowstone Lake today. Lava flows, ash deposits, and resurgent magma domes continue to sculpt the terrain, a reminder of Earth's unstoppable forces. The park's geysers, hot springs, and fumaroles are windows into this underground activity, each feature driven by heat from deep within the planet. Even the earthquakes, small but frequent, whisper the restless energy below. Early conservationists recognized this unique landscape and secured its protection, making Yellowstone the world's first national park in 1872. Yellowstone isn't just a park. It's a living classroom of nature's immense and ongoing power. Red Rock Canyon is one of the Mojave Desert's true wonders, famous for its towering crimson cliffs and dramatic rocky formations. Just a short 30-minute drive from the bustle of Las Vegas, this protected landscape feels like stepping into another world. Covering nearly 200,000 acres, it's not only a place of breathtaking scenery, but also a land shaped by centuries of history and tradition. Long before modern visitors arrived, indigenous tribes called this land home, leaving behind ancient carvings that still whisper their stories today. The canyon is alive with wildlife too. Desert bighorn sheep and hawks often reveal themselves if you explore at sunrise or sunset. For photographers, hikers, and campers, its rugged desert beauty offers endless inspiration. If you're planning a trip to the U.S., this is a destination you won't want to miss. From soaring mountain peaks to the quiet corners of hidden valleys, the Americas are filled with stories waiting to be discovered. Rivers carve paths through landscapes older than most civilizations, and forests whisper secrets carried for centuries. The cultures of this land have blended, clashed, and grown, leaving marks both visible and unseen across the continent. Wildlife roams in places where humans barely tread, reminding us of the delicate balance between nature and life. Art, music, and tradition continue to thrive, offering glimpses of a spirit that refuses to fade. The Americas are so vast and magnificent that no single video could capture all its wonders. Traveling through these lands is more than sightseeing. It's a journey through time, memory, and wonder. Thank you for joining us on this adventure, and we'll see you on the next journey.